Have you ever wondered what the world's first hit song sounded like? Long before streaming services and digital music, our ancestors were already creating melodies that echoed through ancient caves and valleys. But this isn't your typical story of musical evolution. Picture yourself in a French cave, where archaeologists made an extraordinary discovery: a flute crafted from a vulture's wing bone, dating back over 35,000 years. This isn't just any musical instrument. It's one of humanity's earliest attempts to capture the essence of sound. As you hold this delicate piece of history, you can't help but wonder, what melodies once flowed through its carefully carved holes? What stories did it tell? The discovery of this ancient flute opens a window into our musical past. Our ancestors weren't sitting around campfires streaming their favorite playlists. They were the original composers, the first musicians who discovered that a hollow bone could create sounds that would move hearts and minds. But why did they start making music in the first place? Was it to imitate the birds soaring above their caves? To communicate across valleys? Or perhaps to connect with something deeper, more spiritual? The answers lie hidden in the depths of our prehistoric past. In recent years, musicologists and archaeologists have worked together to recreate the sounds these ancient instruments might have produced. Using precise measurements and careful craftsmanship, they've brought these prehistoric melodies back to life. The haunting tones that emerge transport us back to a time when music was first discovering its voice. What we do know is that this wasn't just about entertainment. Music played a vital role in the social fabric of our ancestors' lives. It might have been used in hunting rituals, spiritual ceremonies, or to strengthen community bonds. Every note played on that vulture bone flute was part of humanity's first steps into cultural expression. Before we embark on this sonic journey through prehistory, let's take a moment to appreciate how far we've come, from a simple bone flute to the vast musical landscape we enjoy today. We're about to uncover the fascinating story of how our species first learned to make music, and how those early melodies helped shape who we are today. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to The Dawn of Humankind for more captivating stories about our ancient past. Join us as we explore the very beginnings of human creativity and expression through the universal language of music. Music stands as one of humanity's oldest forms of expression, predating even our most fundamental technological advances. When we delve into human prehistory, we discover that our ancestors were creating rhythmic sounds and melodies long before they developed writing systems, agricultural practices, or even learned to craft pottery. The Upper Paleolithic period, approximately 40,000 years ago, marks our earliest concrete evidence of musical activity. This era represents a crucial turning point in human development, often referred to as the creative explosion or the Great Leap Forward. During this time, Homo sapiens were undertaking remarkable migrations out of Africa, spreading across Eurasia and establishing themselves in new territories. This period witnessed an unprecedented surge in human cognitive and cultural development. As our ancestors spread across different landscapes, from the frozen tundras of Europe to the vast Asian steppes, they began developing sophisticated tools, creating intricate cave paintings, and crafting the first known musical instruments. This cultural revolution coincided with significant developments in human brain structure and social organization. The timing of these earliest musical activities is particularly fascinating when we consider the broader context of human evolution. While our species had already developed complex language capabilities, the emergence of music suggests a growing capacity for abstract thinking and symbolic expression. These musical innovations appeared alongside other revolutionary developments like advanced hunting techniques, sophisticated toolmaking, and the first examples of figurative art. Archaeological evidence from this period reveals that musical expression wasn't limited to a single region or culture. From the caves of Western Europe to the shelters of Eastern Asia, our ancestors were experimenting with sound in remarkably similar ways. This suggests that music might have played a crucial role in our species' survival and social development, possibly contributing to improved group cohesion and communication. The Upper Paleolithic also marked a period of significant climatic changes, with the world experiencing the last major ice age. These environmental challenges may have spurred innovations in cultural expression, including music, as communities sought ways to strengthen social bonds and preserve cultural knowledge during times of hardship. This era of human history demonstrates that music wasn't merely a form of entertainment, but rather an integral part of early human society. It likely served multiple functions, from facilitating social bonding and ritual practices to aiding in the transmission of cultural knowledge, and possibly even playing a role in early language development. Understanding this historical context helps us appreciate how deeply rooted music is in human nature. It wasn't an accidental discovery or a luxury that came with civilization. It was a fundamental aspect of what made us human, emerging alongside our earliest artistic and technological innovations, and helping to shape the cognitive and social capabilities that would eventually lead to the development of complex civilizations. This remarkable timeline places music not just as an art form, but as one of humanity's oldest and most essential tools for expression, communication, and social cohesion. Picture a night 35,000 years ago, deep in the heart of prehistoric Europe. As darkness falls across the ancient landscape, a small group gathers around a flickering fire, their shadows dancing against the cave walls. This wasn't just any gathering, it was one of humanity's earliest concerts. Among them sits a young hunter, no more than 16 winters old. His fingers, calloused from crafting tools, now delicately grasp a flute carved from a vulture's wing bone. The instrument, created through countless hours of careful work, produces haunting melodies that echo through the cave. He learned this craft from his father, who learned it from his father before him. Beside him, other members of the clan create rhythmic accompaniment. Some strike carefully selected rocks together, each chosen for its unique tone. Others clap their hands in complex patterns passed down through generations. A child experiments with hollow bones, discovering the joy of percussion for the first time. The most revered figure in this ancient ensemble is the elderly wise woman, her face marked by the stories of countless seasons. Her voice rises above the instrumental sounds in a deep, guttural chant. Her songs are not mere entertainment, they are the oral history of her people, carrying tales of great hunts, changing seasons, and the wisdom of the ancestors. These prehistoric musicians weren't performing for fame or fortune. They were hunters, gatherers, toolmakers, and caregivers who discovered that sounds could bridge the gap between the physical and spiritual worlds. The young ones learning these songs would one day teach them to their own children, ensuring their culture's survival through the universal language of music. Each member of this group played a crucial role in their small community. The bone flute player might have spent his mornings tracking deer through forests. The drummers could have been the same hands that crafted fine spear points from flint. The singing elder might have been the one who knew which plants could heal and which could harm. In their world, music wasn't separate from daily life. It was woven into every aspect of existence. It accompanied their hunting rituals, celebrated successful gatherings, marked important life events, and provided comfort during long winter nights. These weren't professional musicians, but rather members of a community who had discovered the power of sound to unite, celebrate, and preserve their way of life. Their musical gatherings also served as crucial educational moments. Younger members of the group learned not just melodies and rhythms, but also the stories, beliefs, and practical knowledge embedded within each performance. Through these sonic teachings, vital survival information was passed down through generations, encoded in memorable tunes and rhythms. As the night deepens and the fire dims, we can imagine these ancient ancestors continuing their musical ritual, their sounds echoing through time. They may not have known it, but they were laying the foundation for all human musical expression to come. Their legacy lives on in every gathering where people come together to share in the universal joy of creating music. These prehistoric performers, though separated from us by vast stretches of time, share something fundamental with musicians today. The understanding that music has the power to transform moments, unite people, and preserve what is most precious to us as human beings. The dawn of musical instruments marks one of humanity's most remarkable technological achievements. These early innovations revolutionized how our ancestors expressed themselves, communicated, and preserved their cultural heritage. Let's explore these groundbreaking developments in detail. The creation of bone flutes represents one of humanity's earliest technological breakthroughs in sound production. Crafted primarily from cave bear femurs and vulture wing bones, these sophisticated instruments required remarkable precision and understanding of acoustics. Artisans carefully selected bones based on their density, thickness, and natural hollow structure. They used stone tools to carve precisely positioned holes, understanding intuitively how spacing affected pitch. Archaeological evidence suggests they even developed methods to smooth the inner walls of the bones to improve sound quality. The development of percussion instruments showcased our ancestors' ability to recognize and utilize the acoustic properties of various materials. They discovered that hollow bones produced different tones depending on their size and thickness. Large tree trunks were transformed into primitive drums, with some evidence suggesting they may have stretched animal hides across hollow logs. Stone percussion instruments were carefully selected based on their mineral composition and shape, as different types of rocks produced distinct tones when struck together. Some stones were even shaped specifically to create desired sounds. Perhaps one of the most ingenious discoveries was the musical potential of seashells. Our ancestors learned that by carefully drilling holes in specific locations on large shells, they could create powerful horns capable of producing various notes. These instruments were particularly significant as they required understanding of how airflow and chamber size affected sound production. Some shells were modified with primitive mouthpieces made from clay or bone to improve their playability. These fascinating instruments demonstrate remarkable understanding of physics and sound production. Created by attaching carved bone pieces to strings or sinew, bull roarers produced an eerie, wind-like sound when swung through the air. The pitch would change based on the speed of rotation and the size of the bone piece. Archaeological evidence suggests these instruments held both musical and ceremonial significance, with different sizes producing various tones. The creation of prehistoric musical instruments represents a series of remarkable technological breakthroughs. These innovations highlight the ingenuity and resourcefulness of our ancestors. Advanced carving techniques were developed, utilizing specialized stone tools to achieve precise perforation of bones. This precision allowed for the production of instruments capable of creating consistent and clear sounds. Additionally, an understanding of acoustics emerged as our ancestors recognized how factors like shape, size, and material directly influence sound production. Material science also played a critical role in this process. They understood which materials would not only produce the best sounds, but also stand the test of time. To manufacture these instruments, they refined their tools, creating implements specifically designed for instrument making. They even began experimenting with sound engineering, modifying materials to produce specific tones and achieving a deeper control over the auditory experience. The long-term impact of these early technological advances is profound. The principles discovered by our ancestors, such as the relationship between the length of a tube and the pitch it produces in wind instruments, or the role of material density in percussion, laid the foundation for all future musical instrument development. These basic ideas continue to shape how instruments are designed and constructed today. The manufacturing techniques employed in creating these instruments were surprisingly sophisticated. Material selection was a meticulous process, with bones, stones, and shells chosen for their specific acoustic properties. Organic materials underwent careful curing and preparation to prevent decay and ensure the instrument's longevity. Tool creation itself became an advanced practice, as specialized implements were crafted for the unique requirements of instrument making. Even quality testing was integral, as methods were devised to ensure that each instrument produced a consistent and reliable sound. These prehistoric achievements reveal just how advanced our ancestors were. They possessed a deep understanding of materials, crafting techniques, and the physics of sound. Their ability to solve complex problems and transmit this technical knowledge across generations speaks to their ingenuity and resilience. Through their innovations, these early humans not only created instruments, but also laid the groundwork for a tradition of musical expression that has continued to evolve over millennia. Their legacy reminds us of the profound connection between creativity, technology, and the human spirit. The impact of these early technological innovations continues to resonate through time, forming the foundation of human musical expression and technological development. From these humble beginnings emerged the vast array of musical instruments we know today, each building upon the fundamental principles discovered by our prehistoric ancestors. For modern researchers and musicians, these ancient technologies provide invaluable insights into human cognitive development, technological innovation, and the universal human drive to create and share music. They remind us that the path from simple bone flutes to modern synthesizers is a continuous journey of human ingenuity and creativity. The creation and study of prehistoric musical instruments present archaeologists and researchers with a unique set of challenges that continue to intrigue and perplex experts today. The creation of prehistoric musical instruments posed numerous technical challenges that required remarkable ingenuity to overcome. Speaking of bone perforation technology, creating precise holes in bones using stone tools demanded exceptional skill and patience. Prehistoric craftsmen had to develop specialized stone drilling tools and master techniques to prevent bone splitting during perforation. They needed to understand optimal hole placement for sound production and calculate precise distances between holes for correct pitch, while working with minimal margin for error, as one mistake could destroy weeks of work. Working with organic materials presented significant challenges, as bones needed careful preparation. To prevent cracking, craftsmen had to remove marrow without damaging the bone structure. While weather conditions affected material workability, seasonal timing was crucial for material collection, and storage methods had to be developed to prevent decay. Creating instruments required specialized tools, as stone implements needed specific shapes for different carving stages. These tools required constant maintenance, and resharpening different materials demanded different tool types, and techniques for tool creation had to be passed down through generations. Modern researchers face their own set of challenges when studying these ancient instruments. Archaeologists must reconstruct entire instruments from tiny fragments, determine original instrument shapes from partial remains, distinguish between natural breaks and intentional modifications, identify tool marks among natural where patterns, and date fragments accurately without destroying them. Reconstructing prehistoric sounds involves understanding original tuning systems, determining playing techniques, accounting for material degradation over millennia, creating accurate replicas for testing, and considering how environmental conditions affected sound. Major challenges in preservation include protecting fragile organic remains, maintaining optimal storage conditions, preventing further degradation, documenting deteriorating artifacts, and balancing research needs with preservation. Understanding the context and use of prehistoric instruments presents additional challenges. Researchers must interpret the social role of instruments, understand ritual significance, determine performance practices, reconstruct musical traditions, and connect instruments to other archaeological findings. Modern technical analysis requires non-destructive testing methods, advanced imaging techniques, acoustic modeling software, experimental archaeology approaches, and cross-disciplinary collaboration. Contemporary researchers employ various methods to overcome these challenges, using cutting-edge technology, like 3D scanning for detailed analysis, CT scanning for internal structure examination, microscopic analysis of tool marks, chemical analysis of materials, and digital sound modeling. Practical research is conducted through creating replica instruments, testing different manufacturing techniques, exploring playing methods, documenting sound production, and recording acoustic properties. These challenges continue to drive innovation in archaeological research, leading to development of advanced imaging systems, better preservation techniques, more accurate dating methods, non-invasive analysis tools, and digital reconstruction capabilities. The importance of knowledge transfer includes documenting research methods, sharing findings across disciplines, training new generations of researchers, preserving traditional crafting techniques, and building global research networks. The ongoing study of prehistoric musical instruments represents a fascinating intersection of archaeology, musicology, and technology, as researchers continue to unlock the secrets of our musical past. The study of prehistoric musical instruments remains a dynamic field where each challenge overcome leads to new questions and discoveries. These challenges push researchers to develop innovative solutions and provide valuable insights into human technological and cultural evolution. Understanding how our ancestors overcame their manufacturing challenges helps us appreciate their ingenuity and provides inspiration for modern problem-solving approaches. Through careful study and persistence, researchers continue to unravel the mysteries of prehistoric music making, adding new chapters to the story of human cultural development. Each challenge met brings us closer to understanding how our ancestors created and experienced music, enriching our appreciation of human creativity and innovation across millennia. When we examine the musical legacy of our prehistoric ancestors, we discover profound parallels between their world and ours. The echoes of their ancient melodies continue to resonate in surprising ways through modern society, offering valuable insights into the timeless role of music in human culture. Music has always served as humanity's universal language. In prehistoric times, our ancestors gathered around fires, using rhythm and melody to forge connections that transcended spoken language. Today, we might gather at festivals or concerts, but the fundamental human experience remains remarkably unchanged. Whether through primitive bone flutes or sophisticated synthesizers, music continues to bridge cultural divides and unite people across boundaries. The social bonding function of music has remained constant through millennia. Prehistoric communities used musical gatherings to strengthen tribal connections, celebrate important events, and mark significant life passages. In our modern world, we still turn to music for these same purposes. Wedding celebrations, graduation ceremonies, and religious rituals continue to be marked by musical expression, just as they were thousands of years ago. Consider how prehistoric hunting parties might have used rhythmic chants to coordinate their movements and boost morale. Today, we see similar applications in military marching songs, sports arena chants, and workout playlists. The fundamental human need to synchronize and energize through rhythm remains deeply embedded in our cultural DNA. Emotional expression through music shows remarkable consistency across time. The mournful tones of ancient funeral dirges find their modern counterparts in contemporary ballads. The celebratory rhythms of prehistoric harvest festivals echo in today's party music. Though our instruments have evolved, the emotional language of music remains surprisingly constant. Ancient shamans and healers understood music's power to alter consciousness and facilitate healing. Modern music therapy builds on this ancient wisdom, using carefully selected sounds and rhythms to promote physical and emotional well-being. The intuitive understanding our ancestors had about music's therapeutic properties has been validated by modern neuroscience. The evolution from cave acoustics to digital sound processing tells a story of technological advancement, but the underlying principles remain unchanged. Prehistoric musicians chose caves with specific acoustic properties to enhance their performances. Today's sound engineers use advanced technology to create similar effects, suggesting that our basic understanding of what makes music powerful hasn't changed as much as our methods of producing it. Knowledge transmission through music continues to be vital. Where our ancestors used songs to pass down tribal histories and survival knowledge, we still use musical mnemonics to teach children basic concepts and preserve cultural heritage. The human brain's capacity to retain information through musical patterns remains as relevant today as it was millennia ago. Even the democratization of music shows interesting parallels. In prehistoric times, music making was often a communal activity where everyone participated. Today's digital technology and social media have returned us to a similar paradigm, where anyone can create and share music, challenging the relatively recent notion of music as an exclusively professional endeavor. The lesson we learn from examining our musical past is both humbling and inspiring. While our technology has advanced dramatically, our fundamental relationship with music remains remarkably similar to that of our prehistoric ancestors. We still use music to celebrate, to mourn, to unite, to heal, to teach, and to express what words alone cannot convey. This continuity reminds us that beneath our modern sophistication, we share the same basic human needs and experiences as our ancestors. The primal power of rhythm and melody continues to move us, connecting us not only to each other, but to the long chain of human experience stretching back to those first musicians who discovered that a hollow bone could sing. As we look to the future of music, with its artificial intelligence composers and virtual reality concerts, we would do well to remember that technology merely provides new ways to fulfill age-old human needs. The fundamental role of music in human society remains as vital and unchanged as it was when the first rhythms echoed through prehistoric caves. In the depths of Germany's Hohlfels cave, archaeologists made a discovery that would revolutionize our understanding of prehistoric music. The world's oldest known musical instruments were unearthed here, flutes crafted from mammoth ivory and bird bones dating back around 40,000 years. These delicate instruments, particularly the vulture bone flute, represent humanity's earliest documented musical expression. Imagine the excitement when scientists successfully recreated these ancient instruments. Through meticulous study and craftsmanship, they managed to produce exact replicas of these Paleolithic flutes. When played, these reconstructions produced hauntingly beautiful sounds that had not been heard for tens of thousands of years. The replicas revealed that our ancestors possessed a sophisticated understanding of acoustics and were capable of producing complex melodies. Our prehistoric ancestors were remarkably selective about their dwelling places, choosing caves not just for shelter, but for their acoustic properties. Recent studies have shown that many decorated caves from the Paleolithic era possess extraordinary acoustic characteristics. Some chambers act as natural amphitheaters, while others create fascinating echo effects. In locations like the Lascaux caves in France, specific areas were likely chosen for musical performances due to their ability to amplify and enhance sound. The connection between prehistoric music and cave art runs deeper than previously thought. Many cave paintings across Europe appear to depict scenes of musical performances and ritual dances. In Spain's Cave of the Three Brothers, archaeologists identified figures that seem to be playing musical instruments. Some paintings are strategically placed in locations with the best acoustics, suggesting a deliberate link between visual art and musical performance. A fascinating discovery revealed that some caves contain what archaeologists call lithophones, naturally formed rock formations that produce musical tones when struck. Evidence shows these rocks were repeatedly hit in ancient times, indicating their use as prehistoric percussion instruments. These natural musical features may have influenced where our ancestors chose to create their art and perform their music. Modern acoustic studies have shown that many prehistoric painted caves have sound reflection patterns ideal for human voices. When simple melodies are sung in these spaces, the resonance creates an almost supernatural atmosphere. This suggests our ancestors may have used these natural acoustic properties to enhance their ritual and musical experiences. The sophistication of prehistoric musical culture extended beyond instruments and acoustics. Analysis of cave art patterns suggests some paintings might represent early forms of musical notation or rhythmic patterns. While we can't be certain about their exact meaning, these markings indicate that our ancestors may have developed ways to record or remember their musical compositions. Research has also revealed that many prehistoric settlement sites contain evidence of communal areas where musical performances likely took place. These spaces often show signs of repeated gathering and contain traces of various activities that would have accompanied musical performances, such as dancing and feasting. Through these remarkable discoveries, we're beginning to understand that prehistoric music wasn't simply a primitive form of entertainment. It was a sophisticated, multifaceted part of early human culture that combined performance, ritual, and communal celebration in ways that still resonate with how we experience music today. The next time you enter a concert hall or cathedral and marvel at its acoustic design, remember that our prehistoric ancestors were the first sound engineers, using the natural architecture of caves to create powerful musical experiences that echoed through the chambers of time. From the first bone flute carved in a prehistoric cave to today's sophisticated streaming platforms, humanity's fundamental need to create and share music has remained remarkably constant. This journey through time reveals an unbroken thread of musical expression that connects us directly to our earliest ancestors. Each time we press play on our favorite track, we're participating in a tradition that began tens of thousands of years ago, when our forebears first discovered the transformative power of turning silence into melody. Music has evolved from those primitive bone flutes through countless innovations, from ancient drums to medieval lutes, from classical orchestras to electric guitars, and now to digital production studios. Yet the core purpose remains unchanged: to move us, to unite us, and to express what words alone cannot convey. Today's streaming platforms might seem worlds apart from prehistoric musical gatherings, but they serve the same fundamental human desire to share emotional experiences through sound. When we create playlists, share songs with friends, or lose ourselves in our favorite melodies, we're engaging in behaviors that would be instantly recognizable to our ancient ancestors, albeit in a modernized form. Consider how a teenager today, sharing their favorite song on social media, mirrors the ancient practice of communal music sharing around prehistoric fires. The technology has changed dramatically, but the underlying human impulse remains identical: the desire to connect with others through the universal language of music. As we conclude this journey through the origins of human music, remember that every note you hear today echoes with the legacy of countless generations who came before us. They too sang, played, danced, and shared their musical experiences, laying the foundation for the rich and diverse musical landscape we enjoy today. The next time you find yourself moved by a particular melody or caught up in a rhythm, take a moment to appreciate that you're experiencing the same fundamental human connection to music that first stirred in our species tens of thousands of years ago. You're not just listening to a song, you're participating in one of humanity's oldest and most meaningful traditions. And now, we'd love to continue this musical journey together. If this exploration of our musical origins has resonated with you, please take a moment to support our channel. Hit that like button and subscribe to join our community of history enthusiasts. Don't forget to activate the notification bell to ensure you never miss our upcoming episodes about human origins and prehistoric discoveries. Share this video with fellow music lovers who might appreciate understanding the deep historical roots of their favorite art form. We believe that understanding our past helps us better appreciate our present and shape our future. In the comments below, we'd love to hear from you. Which prehistoric instrument would you most like to hear played? Would it be the haunting tones of a bone flute, the thunderous echo of ancient drums, or perhaps the mysterious sound of a shell horn? Share your thoughts and join the discussion about humanity's first musical expressions. Remember, every subscription and share helps us continue bringing these fascinating stories of human history to life. Together, we can explore the remarkable journey that brought us from those first musical experiments in prehistoric caves to the rich symphony of today's global music culture. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll uncover more amazing stories about human origins. Until then, keep the music playing. You're part of a tradition that's literally as old as human civilization itself.